In today's video, I want to talk to you about photographing a wedding with minimal equipment. As a wedding photographer, it's important that we find that balance between being mobile enough, having equipment that you can carry anywhere, but at the same time having the right equipment for the job and also having backups in case something goes wrong. So this video tells you exactly how I do that. Let's go. Right, so as a wedding photographer, my main desire is to capture the day in a natural way, in a documentary style, without creating too much fuss, without being too visible. But at the same time, of course, I have to have the right tools for the job. I need to be able to make sure that I have got backups just in case something goes wrong. But I also need to make sure that I can move freely without actually having to worry all the time about the equipment and where it is. So from that point of view, I have always favored carrying just this bag. So this is a messenger bag. It's a Domke. It's a Domke bag that I got about 7 years ago, and it has served me really well. It weighs actually around 5 kilos. So it's not completely light, but at the same time, it's not too bad to carry. And I have photographed weddings all over the country, with this minimal setup. Now, it is worth noting that if I photograph weddings at a venue, very often I will be driving there and I will have additional backup gear in my car. Gear that I don't really necessarily always need, but I just like to have around just in case. However, I have also photographed weddings where I couldn't drive to the venue, or because of the logistics, perhaps it was in central London, perhaps we were jumping from one place to the other, perhaps the bride and groom wanted for me to be in the wedding car and then in the bus that was taking the guests to the venue. Many different reasons, which meant that then I just had to carry minimum equipment. Having said that, you can also photograph with a setup like this one and also have a bag that you carry around. It is possible, and I have done it once or twice, but it doesn't give me the same flexibility. I want to be able to run in front of the bride and groom if I need to, when they leave the ceremony and I'm photographing them and they're getting into the cars and they're jumping into their car. I want to be, flexible and mobile enough so I can actually do that. So this is a setup that has worked well for me, and let me show you what I've got in this bag. So I am a prime shooter, and I photograph with 2 cameras. And this is just by choice. There are other people that photograph with just 1 camera, and there are actually people that photograph with 3 cameras. I have found that this system gives me peace of mind and flexibility. I wear one of these straps. This is one from a Spanish company called X-Belt Pro. And what I really love about this is that it sits on the back of the shoulder rather than rather than crossing across like some other brands do. So if you look at the back here, it is just sitting nicely on the back, and that is something that really works well for me. So at the beginning of any wedding, I will be arriving, whether I am by car or by train or by bus, I will be arriving with this bag closed in, and then as soon as I'm ready to start photographing, I will put my belt on and I will add both cameras to my straps. I actually use Sony A9s. They are still very good for me, and they do everything I need them to do. So I will carry on using them until they are here no more or they die. But they're a little bit battered and stuff, but they are perfect and they work great. I love the silent shutter, and I love the fact that they're really small. So I will normally be photographing with 2 cameras and 2 lenses. I normally go for a, let me get the lenses out. So in here I've got 4 lenses, and normally I photograph with a 35mm. This is a 35mm 1.4 Sony, but I do also photograph with the 35mm 2.8, which is a little bit smaller, and I use that a lot in summer. For winter weddings or weddings that are in darker venues, I will favor this lens. And this lens always stays in my right camera and hardly ever comes off during the day. On the other side, I'm going to be photographing with the 85mm. And this is the 85mm 1.8 from Sony. Again, it's a lens that I really love. And I felt that 1.8 was enough for what I needed. Some people would go for 1.4, and they're lovely lenses, but for the price, and I don't tend to photograph at 1.8 unless it's very dark. So generally I'm going to be photographing at f2, 2.8, generally speaking, so this is perfect for me. So by and large, most of the day, I just go around photographing with these two lenses. I do also have got the 55mm, the 55mm Sony, which is a great little lens. And I also have got the 25mm Batis Zeiss, which is also awesome. Most of the day I photograph with these two lenses. I love the fact that with the 35mm I can actually have more of a, ever slight wide angle to my photographs. They're not too tight, so they might include the bride and groom in the foreground and the guests in the background. And I like to create photographs where there is, if possible, there are 2 or 3 stories, going on. And the 85mm allows me to isolate subjects a little bit more. And I also love it for portraits. So this tends to be my go-to lens for portraits. These two lenses work very well, and one of the reasons why I like these as well is that I feel like I've got a backup all the time on me. If I am at a crucial moment during the ceremony, for example, I can be photographing with both, and if one camera was to fail, I still have got the other one. So from that point of view, for me, it's just peace of mind. I know that I could have another camera in a bag that I could go and grab, and some people do, and that's perfect. For me, it's just having them on is great. Also, the way I shoot, I will always be photographing some wide-angle scenes and some tighter scenes. So for example, if we take an example of the exchange of the rings, I will probably be capturing with the bride and groom in the foreground, obviously with the action of exchanging the rings, with the family in the background, hopefully with smiley faces and enjoying the day. So I think that just gives context. But then I will also capture a few photographs where maybe it's more focused on the hands, or just the hands and the faces of the bride and groom, and it's just more of an intimate moment as well. So I think it just gives that balance. One of the things about this combination though is that I will use the 25mm very often for establishing shots. So for example, capturing the venue in the morning, capturing the reception, the wedding breakfast room, capturing sometimes wide shots of the venue, for example, during the reception, that kind of stuff. That is going to be the lens that I will go for, and it will normally replace my 85 just for a few moments during the day. I will also use it for the dance floor. So dance floor is also a time when I really enjoy shooting wider, because then the bride and groom are in the middle and then the family is around, and that usually is going to be on the 25mm. The 55mm just gives me a different view. I would say it's probably my least use of all the lenses, but it's a great backup for the 85mm if something went wrong. But also sometimes it works really well in tight spaces. If I'm really, in a crowded drinks reception, for example, sometimes the 85mm seems like is almost too close. So the 55mm is going to be good. So the good thing about this combination is that actually all of these lenses can be backed up. So if my 35mm breaks, I can replace it with a 25mm or a 55mm. And likewise, if my 85mm breaks, I'm still happy to shoot with a 55mm. If I have to go down to just one camera on the day because something has happened, I'm more than happy to photograph a whole wedding on a 35mm, or perhaps, changing from time to time with another lens if need be. But so I feel that I am fairly covered when it comes to this setup. I have all my cameras. I've got 2 memory cards, and I'm recording to both cards at the same time. And I think having these 2 at the same time is great from a backup point of view, because, as I said, let's imagine that you think that the photographs are recording, but they're actually not on one camera. At least you've got them on the other. You lose one camera, you've got the other camera, or any scenario like that. So this works perfectly fine for me. And just as a note, if I am driving to the venue and I have got backups in my car, then I will have a 24-70 or actually a 27-75, I think it is, or 28-75 Tamron zoom lens, which I carry in my car in a spare bag. That is actually the lens I use in studio for my studio photography, and it's a lovely lens. So again, that will then become a backup on the day if I need it. I do also have got a 18mm lens. It's also a Batis, and that is obviously very wide angle lens, and I use that a lot for very busy weddings, Sikh weddings, Jewish weddings, where there is a lot of dancing, a lot of people dancing in a very small dance floor sometimes. And so I do have got this wider angle lens as well in my bag. So what else do I carry to a wedding? So I do carry a few additional bits. I do carry 2 flashes. I think that from a safety point of view, it's great to have them. And these ones are the Godox TT350. They are really small. I use them on camera mainly. They have got this little card, the bounce card, which is ideal. And I actually use this one during the dancing, during the dance reception. Very often there is going to be some ambient light anyway, or some light from the DJs. And then I'm happy to shoot at high ISO and just have these ones, mainly bouncing or using the bounce card if I need to. But they're really good. They have got AA batteries as well, so I can have spare batteries if I need to. And they work really well. The other thing is one of them can act as a master, whilst the other one acts as a slave. So if I wanted to do like a very quick creative portrait or something like that, then I would use these ones and they will work really well. And this is almost it. So I do carry a couple of other bits. In here, I will always have spare batteries, and I will also have a sensor cleaning kit. I have to say, I haven't had this problem recently, but when I moved from DSLR to mirrorless, I think the mirror is a little bit, the sensor is a little bit closer to the front than in the DSLRs, and it happened a couple of times that I touched the sensor, and so since that day I have always carried a sensor cleaning kit, but I haven't used it in the last few years. This little blower is always very handy to remove dust from the sensor. I also carry some spare batteries. Usually I have got my full charge batteries on the right hand side, and then once I've changed them, they go into the left. And then I also carry spare memory cards in here. I usually don't change cards during the day, but I always have got some spares just in case. And then I will always have, like a lens cloth in here. I will have a snack for the day. I will also have a piece of paper with the notes with regards to the schedule and details from the wedding room and so forth. But by and large, this is all I need. I will do another video showing you a little bit more of my additional gear that I take on weddings. But just to note, I do carry a couple of tripods, light stands. I do have got a tripod as well. I don't know why, but I always carry one, but I have hardly ever used it. I do have got 2 light stands, and I have got 2 larger flashes that I use for the dance floor or for creative portraits. If I want something more powerful than this, I do carry some video lights as well, which again every now and then they will come out. Sometimes if it's very dark, it's quite nice to have a video light on my hands. But again, this is more like an extra if I really need it. But by and large, this has served me well. So hope that you have enjoyed this video. I'm gonna be creating more content around wedding photography, studio photography, and street photography. So if this is of interest to you, please subscribe to this channel and click on notifications. And write in the comments what you have enjoyed. If you have got another system that works very well for you, then let me know, because again, I'm always happy to learn more. I know people that photograph with one camera and one zoom, and then they may have a spare camera with a prime lens in their bag, and that is also great. I know some people that photograph with 3 cameras. This one is quite nice actually, because in here, in these little hooks, you can add a 3rd camera. So I have photographed a few times with a small Fuji X100, which was fun, but I actually found that it was just complicating it more for me than actually helping. So I've changed it. But let me know below, in the comments, what it is that you use, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you've got ideas for content, things you would like to hear from me, I will be more than happy to share. So thank you for watching.